Alright, here's my '03 Caravan Sport. Engine 3.3 V6. Now you found this video because your van stalled out, sputtered, died, won't start, and you just have questions on how to get her going. Now what I did might not fix your problem, but it fixed mine, and it fixed it for free. So I'm going to show you how I diagnosed what was wrong with it and what I did to fix it. Now, just like you guys, when I went to find out what was wrong with the car, why it died out, did just like you. I typed into Google '03 Caravan sputtered and died. Won't start. Now the most popular I got was your personal computer, which is this bad boy, which is easy enough to get to. Problem is it's $300. So I'm not going that route first. I'm going to go the other route. Now the wife has said it's been running kind of rough, and this is the second time that it's happened. So I'm just going to go through the regular stuff that I'm going to check on any car. Loose hoses, bad connections, torn wires, anything that could possibly cause the engine to malfunction. So I'm gonna break down to you step by step on what I did to diagnose the problem. Alright, when working on a vehicle, you always want to start cheap to the most expensive. And you always want to work on what's easy to get to versus the most complicated. So anytime something happens, like I said earlier, I want to check wires, hoses, all kinds of stuff. Along with my personal, along with the computer, I was getting a lot of people saying that Chrysler's wires overheat back here and melt. And I've seen photos of people taking these off where they're just fried. Now, here's your back plugs, and you'll see it right behind there. I took off the steering pump reservoir, and as you can see, there's the wires back in there. Here's some. They look kind of bad, so I tore it all apart. But after I got it all apart, all the wires were fine. So retaped it up. There's another bad one. You can see they all look like that. Try to focus in on it. You can see it's kind of burnt through. Here's another issue with my spark plug cable. It's not through though. There's no hole, so it's still sealed. So I know that one's, for right now, still good. So I know my computer's fine. My wires aren't melted. All my wires here are good. My battery is good. Next, I'm going to check my belt. Belt was fine. Here's another one. You can see these wires back here. They're starting to get bad. Opened it up. They're fine. It's hard to get the light back there. Wires are fine. Now what am I going to move to? I'm going to move to vacuum hoses. Here's the main one. Here's another one. All these little vacuum hoses with leaks, they will make your engine run crappy. So now, I actually found this one. Get more on top. Coming right out. This one was snapped, and it was just barely hanging on there. So what I did was I completely broke it off, pulled the old piece out of here, and just shoved it in farther. So I had one vacuum leak there, I knew, so I fixed that. Car still didn't run right. So I'm just going to keep going along the line. Now, since everything on the top of the car looks and appears to be normal, I'm going to check fuses. Here's your first fuse. Fuse box. Everyone has one up in the top. This is where all your relays and important switches are. Now when you're having problems with relays, I'll tell you everything that's in here. Now here's my fuel pump relay, my air conditioner relay. What else do I got in there? My fog lamp, horn. Well, if you'll notice, they're all the same. So if I think my fuel pump is the problem, I can just switch the fuel pump with the AC, because they're the same. So I'll just swap them around. I'll drop one in the engine. I'll get that later. But instead of trying to go buying a new one, you can just see which fuses are the same. Another one that seems to go is your starter right here and your accessories. Exactly the same. I can just switch them. So instead of going and buying new ones, just take one that you know works. Like I knew my horn worked, I knew my AC worked, fuel pump was in question. So I put all three of them in there, still none of them, still wouldn't fire up. So, this fuse box is good. I'm going to go to my second one. Now, if you found this video, you're probably wondering, oh great, where's the second one? There isn't one on an 03 Dodge Caravan. I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why. But I'm gonna tell you. It's not in the end of the dash. It's not up under the glove box. It's not down by the brake pedal. It's not on the other end of the dash. So, after Google for, I swear, a couple hours, common case I came to is everybody was looking for it and nobody could find it. But I did find one guy who says there isn't one. What they did is they have all the ones up in here, and what's not in here is run off a main breaker under your pedal. You'll see 3 or 4 big breakers, and those need to be reset or switched out. Well, that was a pain in the butt, so I'm going to go to step 3, which is top side is good, fuses are good, now it's time to crawl underneath. Alright, so now I'm underneath, and you'll see I'm at the fuel. Now I could smell fuel, so I knew fuel was pumping. But just in case, there's your fuel pump. There's your back driver's side tire. So now you can see where I am underneath. There's my fuel pump. There's my filter. Now to test the fuel pump, you can just climb under here, put your hand on it, listen, have someone turn the key over. All they need to do is turn the power on, and you'll hear this thing's power up. So I knew that was working. Next is the fuel filter. Well, I came down here, and here's my static ground strap. It was busted. So I put a new one on, homemade, just needs to be grounded, and it goes right up to the fuel filter. So, knowing I could smell gas means I know it's pumping out and it's going somewhere. So it could have been a clogged fuel filter. But look where it is. I'm not dropping this down to put a new filter in or just to check it just in case that was it. So I just refixed the strap, went on my way. Now if you look underneath, you can just follow your fuel lines all the way. There was no leaks, nothing like that nature. So I went back up top. Everything down here appears to be good. Alright, back on top. My electrical is all good. My vacuum lines are all good. My fuses are all good. Just by years of experience and climbing down there in visual, my fuel is good. So now I can also come up here. Here's my air intake, throttle body, and my idle air controller. So now I've had the PCM get brought up, I've had the burnt wires get brought up. Now that I'm up to here, I can smell gas. I know fuel's coming up here. I'm getting told I need to clean this out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pop your air filter off. Clip here. The clip back down there. Pull your hoses off. Take this off, loosen it. This whole piece comes off. Okay. I did notice there's a little snip here, but this zip tie closed it up. So that's fine. So I can pull all this off. And what I'm left with is just the idle air controller going in. Alright, I'm going to show you how to take this off, clean it. Now, here's your cables. What you need to do is, you see where my finger's moving right here? There's a little slot. What you do is you push these forward. The cables will go into that front slot. It's all pressure loaded, and then put the cables in the slot, and then they come out this way. Both come out the front. So push them forward. There's a little slot right here where my finger is. Sorry, it's pressure loaded. Right where my finger is, on the front. Pull them forward. Slide them out this way towards the front of the engine. Now all you have is here, 10 millimeter. There's 3, one here, one back here. Now what I'm really trying to do is, here's my idle air, this piece right here. There's a separation here. This screw holds it on. So you get this whole thing out. Take this screw off. This is hard to pull out, but it's got rubber gaskets, so be gentle. Don't just He-Man it out. And what happens is, when you get all this off, you'll just see that the inside of everything in here is caked black. Now you want to get like carb cleaner, any kind of cleaner, and get that out. I used brake cleaner and some elbow grease. Cleaned it all out. So I got everything in here cleaned. I got this cleaned, and then I had to put this back into this. And it's very hard to do. So what I did was, like I said, they're rubber gaskets in here. So the old-fashioned way is I spit on it, rubbed my finger along in there, it slid right in, screwed that back on, put this back on, put everything back on, and lo and behold, she fired up. Ran better than ever, according to the missus. So I avoided all the expensive stuff out of everything, and it was probably just a clogged fuel, dirty fuel line. So if your van is running pretty piss poor, won't restart, you do it like I did. This cost me absolutely nothing. Check the wires, check the vacuum lines, check the fuses, check the fuel filter, fuel pump, fuel lines coming up, and the only where it was going was into here. So took it all out, cleaned it all out, runs like a champ. And if that wasn't the case, where it didn't start up and run, my next guess would be to buy the fuel filter and start there. But I didn't have to spend any money on it. I was lucky enough to just give it a good cleaning. And then last but not least, the wife has noticed that the fuel gauge isn't as accurate. It ran out of gas before the fuel light came on, and now it ran out of gas at a little under a quarter tank. So that's another thing. If you think it is a fuel issue, make sure you got fuel in the tank too. We did, so got lucky there. But just a side note, make sure you have fuel before you start doing all this stuff, because these fuel gauges are known to not be as accurate either. That's my 2 cents.